We can't
handwritten
tell
design,
you.
so
Okay.
it's all good. Yeah.
That's perfect. So yeah, we just want to share ideas, and I know the best way we can support the brain tumor community, make our fundraising successful in our 5K events. You know, this year looks a little different for a lot of reasons. So we're planning on hosting these meetings every other week with different topics that we'll be covering, and with a lot of different guest speakers, maybe team captains or active supporters, and talking about how they engage their communities. So thank you all for being here. So first things, I think it would be nice to do just some quick introductions for everybody that's here. Oh, we've got some coming in. And I can start kind of with the staff, and then we can go around and just say our name and then what city we participate in, or if you participate in multiple cities, so we can do that way. So first off, my name is Kelsey Seeley. I'm the Events and Operations Manager at Head for the Cure, so overseeing all of our 5K events. So I work closely with the regional relationship coordinators, with Jenna, our executive director, doing, and Kaylin, our logistics coordinator, Brian with analytics. I kind of the middle person with everything, making sure that every aspect of the event is covered and trying to make it the most successful it can be. So I'm going to go around. Laura, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura. I work with the lovely people at Head for the Cure. I am our Programs and Development Coordinator, so I work on some of the fundraising not associated with the 5Ks. So one of those things is our Go Gray in May campaign for Brain Tumor Awareness Month. So I hope all of you guys have been seeing all those wonderful posts that the team has helped me with throughout the month. And then I also work on the program side with our ambassadors, who I think there's a couple of you on here. So hi, ambassadors. And then also Brains for the Cure, which is our online patient caregiver navigator. So excited to have this be our first community meeting and get to hear from all of you guys. So thanks for being here.
Perfect. Thanks, Laura. Maddie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie. I'm a Regional Relationship Coordinator at Head for the Cure. I cover Wichita, Omaha, Des Moines, St. Louis, Chicago, Detroit, and Columbus.
Awesome. Thank you. Courtney, also, by the way, today is Courtney's birthday, so shout out, birthday girl.
Birthday.
Thank you. I'm Courtney. I'm another Regional Relationship Coordinator, and I manage all of our Texas markets. So that's Dallas, which is our North Texas, Central Texas, which is in Austin, Midland, San Antonio, and Houston, as well as Phoenix in Arizona. So it's great to see you guys.
Perfect. Thank you, Courtney. Allie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Allie. I am also a Regional Relationship Coordinator. I'm actually the newest member of the Head for the Cure team. I will be helping with the Charleston, Orlando, Mid-Missouri, Seattle, NC Triangle, and Cleveland events.
Perfect. Thank you. Cheryl?
Hi, I'm Cheryl. I am the office manager for Head for the Cure. I do not run any events, but I have, of course, we all participate in Kansas City, but I've been to Omaha for several years and to Columbia for several years, Des Moines, and this was maybe going to be the first time for Wichita, but maybe not. So I answer the phone and questions on online questions that come in, and then I handle memorial submissions. So I do a lot with the checks that come in, that kind of stuff, Facebook donations, money.
Perfect. Thank you, Cheryl. Brian? Oh, Brian, I think you're on mute.
Hi, everyone. So as Kelsey mentioned, I do analytics, so I get to help study and optimize things both on the event and program side of Head for the Cure. In my personal life, I've actually participated in a Kansas City event since 2006, so it's been great to see Head for the Cure continue to grow and evolve over the years.
Perfect. Thank you. Kaylin?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kaylin, and I am the Event Logistics Coordinator. So I manage the back end of all of the events. So the stuff that you guys don't always think of, like the porta potties, venue contracts, dumpster, all that good stuff. And then I also do a lot of our graphic design. So I design the t-shirts, the medals, posters, those kinds of things.
Perfect. Thank you. So I'm just going to go kind of based on where you are in my screen and call out your name, and if you'll introduce yourself and what event you participate in and what city you're in. So first up, Annette, sorry, you've got to go first.
No, that's all right. My name is Annette. I am in St. Louis. I have done the race for 4 years. And I am coming up on my 4-year anniversary since my diagnosis and Get It Out Day. Yay! May 31st is my Get It Out Day. So we're just rolling along. The first year, right, it was 3 months after my diagnosis, I did the walk and made it, and done it ever since. So it's a good event. It's fun. We have a pretty close-knit group of people that do it, and then every year we have a few that kind of come in and then don't come back again for logistic reasons usually, but so it's a fun day, and hopefully we make a lot of funds so they can get rid of this monster in our head.
Absolutely. Thank you. Dora? Oh, sorry, I can't hear myself echo.
That's okay. Hi, how are y'all today? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm Dora Garcia, and I am with Team Seabiscuit in San Antonio. We have been participating since 2014 with my brother-in-law, Juan Carlos Garcia. So he's the gentleman that we celebrate the life every year. We just had his 5th date of death this past May. So yeah, so that's me.
Perfect. Thank you. Kay?
Hi, I'm Kate Tenhouse. I'm in St. Louis. This will be my first walk race. Our team's walking in memory of my husband, who I lost last September.
Thank you, Kay. Hannah?
Hi, I'm Hannah Carr-Murphy. I am the captain of Team Peachy, and last year was our first year participating in Des Moines. And we are running and walking in honor of my dad, Steve Murphy.
Awesome, thank you. Lisa?
Hi, I'm Lisa. I live here in Kansas City, so I do the Kansas City race, and then all of my family lives in St. Louis, so I also do the St. Louis race. I am a 6-year survivor of a ganglioglioma, and I'm also an ambassador for Head for the Cure.
Okay, thank you. Dee?
Yep, I have to keep flipping back and forth because I can only see 9 people. So every time somebody that talks, I can't see them, I have to zero in on them.
Slip it over.
That's what I'm doing. Rocking back and forth. I'm Dee Hand. I'm in San Francisco, but I am the leader of Greg's West Enders in Cleveland. And Greg was my brother, and we've done the walk 2 years, and Greg passed on January the 5th of glioblastoma, and we've made lots of friends in this community, happy and sad. And I want to say a big hello to Cheryl, who's helped me for 2 long years.
I was just going to say the same thing. Can I pop in for a minute and say, oh, Dan, it's so nice to talk with you.
Yeah, my good friend Cheryl, who I've never seen her face before, but I've talked to her a million times on the phone. And I'd also like to shout out to both gals in St. Louis, because I lived in St. Louis on North Spady Road for 6 years.
Just let it go.
And so I have fond memories of St. Louis. So.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you, Dee. Melinda?
Hey, I'm Melinda Angelis. This is my first year of doing the Pittsburgh 5K, and I'm a team leader of Live for the Day, and it's in memory of my dad who passed away in September last year.
Thank you. Chris?
I'm sorry, did you call me?
I did, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you kind of broke up a little bit. I'm Chris, I'm in Topeka. And I participate in the Kansas City 5K, or kayak run, as it was last year. And if I make it exactly one more month, I'll be a 26-year survivor. But I am on team End Ependymoma because my daughter is a 3.5-year survivor. So that's the type of tumor she had, was an ependymoma. So we kind of got involved after Allie's diagnosis. And honestly didn't know much about Head for the Cure prior to that, or probably would have been involved prior to that.
Right. That's great. Thank you. Karen?
Hi, I'm Karen Kurla, and I am from Plano, Texas. We're going to participate in North Texas Head for the Cure on May 31st. We're going to have our first virtual, obviously. And I am the team captain for Team Gray Matters North Texas Brain Tumor Support Group. And I've been doing the race and I don't know that I was the captain all those years, but we've done it from the inception. So this is year 10 for us. And I walk in honor of my husband, who is a 19-year survivor of an oligodendroglioma. But I also walk with our whole support group for everyone in our support group that are survivors, and we've lost a lot of our members. And so this really is a huge community team. I love the walk. I love all of the support that it gives in our community in Dallas, and UT Southwestern Medical School involvement is great. So hi.
Perfect. Thank you. Camilla? I turned my sideways.
Hi, I'm Camilla. I haven't participated in any of the walks, but I was at the Survivors Luncheon. I believe it was last year. That was my first time attending with Gray Matters. So, hi.
Perfect. Welcome. Thank you. Sherry. Oh, nope, we can't hear you. Sorry. And then we lost somebody. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I'm here. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties with my computer, so I had to log back in on my phone. I'm Sherry Niederhoff, and I am associated with the North Texas event, and our virtual race is next Sunday. I'm really excited about that. We are celebrating our 10-year anniversary. I am part of the original local planning team, and I'm involved because my dear friend Stevie Patrick in 2010 was diagnosed with a grade 3 astrocytoma. And she had a 3-year battle, and lost her battle 2013. So we have I have since met so many amazing survivors and caregivers, and love our North Texas community. Kudos to Karen and everything she does at Gray Matter Support Group. It's an awesome support group for our community. And what I do is I'm the team liaison. So I do everything with team captains, survivors, all that kind of stuff. I work alongside you guys at Head for the Cure. You all are so wonderful. It's so great to see all your faces. And love what you all are about in your mission, and just I'm your #1 fan. So just so great.
Oh, thank you, Sherry.
Anxious to see what everyone has to say.
Yes, absolutely. Nicole, I'm not sure if we can't see, but if you'd like to introduce yourself. Oh, there you are.
Yeah. Hi. Sorry, I have my muted and my video off usually because my toddler is running around. So
no worries.
Scare everyone. Anyways, I'm Nicole. I live near Seattle, Washington. I am a 21-year this month survivor. I've had two types of brain tumors. And then I'm also an ambassador. And my first time participating in a Head for the Cure 5K was last year. I'm excited again for the one this year, next month, virtual event. So yeah, it's great to see everybody.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, and last but not least, I'd like to introduce our guest team captain host guest speakers who will be asking questions too. So we've got Kim. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Kim Asbury. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm gonna do a shout out to Ohio State Buckeyes. Go Bucks. I am a team captain for Lori Jo's Journey. This is my third year involved in the Head for the Cure. I was there the first year that they had it, and I'm here to represent my little sister, Lori Jo Mines. She had a 3-year battle with stage 4 glioblastoma and lost her battle May 14th, 2019.
Thank you, Kim.
Yep.
We've got Lezlye.
Hi, I'm Lezlye Ware. First participated in a Houston event when my husband and I were there for, he was in treatment for a glioblastoma. And then since then, Head for the Cure has brought their race to Midland. And so last year was our first year, participated in that. And this year, our virtual event is on the 30th. So be our second year here.
Awesome. Thank you. And then definitely last but not least, Anna.
Hey, I'm Anna. I'm from a small suburb outside of Dallas, and I participate in the North Texas event every year. I think this is my third year, and it's been 4 years since my initial diagnosis of a ganglioglioma. So everything's stable, everything's great.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for introducing yourself and again for being here. Just to kind of talk about the format of what our discussion will look like, we're going to just kind of ask some questions to our host team captains, allow them to answer, and then to keep us from talking over the top of each other, because it's easy to do on Zoom with these virtual meetings, we'll just ask that you just raise your hand if you have a question or a comment, if you want to chime in with your own experiences that you've had, and then Laura and I will be keeping an eye out for your hands so as you speak. So we'll just kind of dive in with our first question. So Lezlye, I'm going to ask you the first question, if that's okay, and then we'll allow Kim and Anna to answer as well. So how do you get the word out in your community about the 5K event, and has that changed now that your event has shifted to virtual?
Well, yes, it has. We initially, in addition to Facebook and just sharing all the things that you guys have posted, we this year had a donor or a sponsor who paid to have some yard signs printed up, and we put those up out in yards. And unfortunately, our event was rescheduled and now has become virtual. So I don't know if that would have helped or not. I can't help but think that it would have helped participation at the last minute. So we'll try it again next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Anna?
Yeah, so for me, I do several things. I primarily use like Facebook and social media, and I tag like my grandparents and stuff because they like to share that stuff. But I write like posts, and I really just go into depth about why I'm involved, and I try to get other people involved as a result. And then I also have my own small business where I go out to little craft fairs around the DFW area, and I'll just kind of share Head for the Cure. I'll give out flyers for the walk, and I'll just really try to get more and more people involved because anybody that participates, it's one more participant towards finding a cure.
Absolutely. Thank you. Kim, how about you?
Well, the really cool thing is this fall, there was a proposal, a House bill to make Ohio go gray in May and make it brain cancer awareness the whole entire month. And so in the fall, I was posting a lot on Facebook about the House bill that was coming up and how I wrote a testimony for it, and that, that was supposed to pass. So once that passed, then this month I've been tying in Go Gray in May in Ohio with Head for the Cure. So typically, most of the people that are on Facebook with me have known my sister's 3-year battle. So I'll post pictures of her, you know, at the James getting treatment, or, you know, the last year she wasn't able to do the walk because it rained and it was canceled, but the year before she got like a Keeping the Faith award. So I just have been trying to tie in like Go Gray in May in Ohio with Head for the Cure, and also just sending out emails and texts to everyone who participated last year. And like reminding them like, hey, don't forget.
Yeah.
So.
Melinda?
So one thing that I started trying out recently is that I wrote a sign behind me, because everyone's doing Zoom meetings, or at my work, we always have meetings, virtual meetings. So I figured I just might as well advertise everything I'm promoting with every meeting, regardless of the context of the meeting. And because usually when people look at it, they're like, oh, what's that? And then I hold the sign closer to the camera. And then I say, donate and run. So I figure that that is a nice, easy thing if you guys usually have video meetings with people. And I don't know how helpful this is, but I don't know. At least it's starting conversation for things that I wouldn't normally bring up this 5K. Definitely not for work, but I'm bringing it up all the time.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, I need a stand for it. I've been playing around with different ways to set it up.
I think that's great. It's subtle, but it is a great conversation starter. And I went from my grid view to just looking at you, so I could get a better look at it.
It's like, I would say that most of my meetings are in the morning when the lighting is better too, because you can't really tell. But I think it's easier to see normally. But I'm sure if you guys want to do it, I'm sure you'll figure out something. But because initially I wanted to create some sort of graphic. You know how in some videos they put like a logo or whatever in the corner of the screen. So I looked up how to do that, but I couldn't do that for Microsoft Teams, which is where what my work uses. So I decided to just do this. But I think you can do this with Zoom. You can make a graphic in Zoom. Oh, who's a graphic? Kaylin can make a graphic that we could put on Zoom calls or whatever.
Yes, she can. She can. That's awesome.
And Kelsey, if you could see in my background, I have a sign too.
I did notice that, yes. I love it. That's awesome. I
And
like
so
these ideas.
I try to keep that up to like when I'm doing Zoom meetings. Now, a lot of times I'm a special ed teacher, so I'm doing it with like 5-year-old kids. So of course I take it down then, but just like Melinda was saying, like when I'm doing meetings with other adults, same thing. I have that like just sitting up there and they're like, oh, what's that? And then I can talk about it.
And I always have, I noticed that you also have your ribbon on, and I have my bracelet on. So like if anyone notices those things, I could also bring it up.
Yep, that's perfect. Awesome.
Okay, sorry. That was what I was going to say.
No, I loved that. That was great. All right, Anna, I'm going to ask this question to you first, if that's okay. So you kind of touched on it, but if you wanted to talk more in depth about what sort of technology you're using to engage your team. You mentioned social media, but are phone calls or texts or emails and anything else that you use to engage team members or maybe get new team members?
Yeah, so I usually tend to send out email every week or so, and it'll be like I'll start out with the blank message or whatever, and then just start typing and just start going through either my story or something that's directly been impacted. So for me, I lost my vision due to my brain tumor. So I might write about how my vision changes the fact that I'm 16 and I'm not able to drive, and just kind of pull in those little things that maybe just make people go, okay, maybe that if I participate in the race, it can make an impact so that other people don't have to go through this. So I send out a lot of emails with those different avenues. And then I also do social media. So a lot of Facebook and Instagram. I'll typically post a lot of pictures from the race, and then I'll also post a lot of almost kind of real pictures, so like pictures from my surgery or just something around those lines, and then a lot of videos of me just talking about it, because I feel like that kind of gives a bunch of different personal kind of viewpoints in a sense. So I guess I use primarily social media and email, but I think anything would really work.
Kim, how about you?
Well, similar to Anna, just the emails, and then a lot of times if I want to be really direct, I send those texts like, come on guys, we need your support, you know, help me with this. But then the other thing my husband's been playing around with is he has a band, and we've been playing around with his band doing some virtual happy hours so that we can eventually engage some or all of our Head for the Cure and just Facebook friends into virtual happy hours and tie it to a donation site.
I love that. That's a great idea. I've been seeing other people do that, just not necessarily for fundraising. I've seen them do it because, you know, they're musicians out of work. But I think this is a great way to bring it back to fundraising. So, Lezlye, how about you?
Basically, just like everybody else, your social media avenues and texts and emails. I really try to make use of the Head for the Cure Participant Center. Makes it really easy. Beyond that, I really try my best to encourage and motivate my team members that have already signed up so that they get involved and are invested and they get out, and your numbers increase that way.
What obstacles have you run into this year while fundraising and growing your team, Lezlye? And how did you overcome those obstacles?
Well, it's just like every business, everything right now is just weird and different with COVID-19. And so you just have to find different ways of keeping people engaged and encouraged. And last weekend, I had a group of people that got together, and we just did a recording for the virtual event that's coming up this weekend. And, you know, just trying to get everybody involved. And I don't know if I've really overcome the obstacles, but I'm trying.
Trying to. Can you talk more about what you did when you filmed this past weekend and what that looked like, and how you set it all up?
Well, I just had a good friend of mine. I'm not a runner, and so I knew that I wasn't going to be the one to run the 5K. We didn't have time for that. Nobody wanted to see that. So my best friend ran in my husband's memory. And then I also lined up at the, just immediately after that, several people from as many teams as I could get to participate from our Midland market. And we just walked single file. We cut it short just to keep it in the 30 minutes. Just a little testimonies here and there from as many people as would, in hopes that somebody from every team will be uplifted when they watch the video next weekend.
Perfect. Thank you. Anna, have you run into any challenges with this year, with the event changing and shifting to virtual, or any event, obstacles that you've faced in the past with growing your team and fundraising?
Yeah, so one of my biggest obstacles is that a lot of my family, they were going to fly in to come to the race, and they did this last year as well. And so they're really looking forward to coming in. And then with the whole COVID thing, they can't fly in anymore. So it's a little bit devastating in a sense, but we're trying our best to really stay virtually connected. So one way that my family is making sure that we're all together is we're actually creating a team group chat. So through text, every mile you walk or whatever, you take a selfie and you're like, hey, I did it. And then towards the end, if you finish, send that you finish, and then you can send like those little voice memos or whatever, and almost just kind of have fun with it. Send like how you cross the finish line and you hear like all the music and stuff, just have fun with that, recreate that in a voice memo, and just really try to give that same kind of race feel. So that way people still feel like they can participate and still can make that difference and still get that impact that you really get at the in-person races.
Great, thank you. Kim, any challenges you faced so far or in years past?
I think this year just especially, my parents are 75 and 76, and some of my other aunts and uncles are older, and they don't really understand the whole aspect of the virtual 5K. So, I've tried to kind of explain to them similar to what other people are talking about, how if we did it for our group, my little sister has a 13-year-old daughter who's really athletic and really into cross-country running and everything, that we would have Liv run and one of us would film it and talk about like maybe each mile marker, talk about her mom and all the great things her mom did and her fight with brain cancer. So when I kind of break it down that way, they understand it, because otherwise they say, and it's fine, like they don't mind like making donations, but they don't really understand how it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been my biggest thing, like trying to explain to them, some of my family who doesn't use Zoom or who's not on the computer, like how that actually works as a virtual 5K.
Right, it's hard to explain it, and we've talked about this internally as a team, like the word virtual didn't really have a meaning before this year. It could mean whatever you wanted, and so we try to define it, and we're just, at first it kind of honestly felt like we were making it up as we go and just seeing what sticks with it. So putting together our first virtual event for Central Texas and for the Austin market, we put that together in a day and a half, which was kind of incredible, because everything was changing so quickly. But we're all really excited about what the Midland and North Texas events will look like this coming, I guess, end of the month. Yeah, Melinda.
I was just wondering, how have the virtual events changed as you keep doing more? Like, have you added more or taken out things, or?
I feel like we've added a ton more. It kind of, as time goes by, we get new ideas all the time, and so seeing what we can try and really wanting every virtual event to be specific to that city and to that event. So there's different aspects for each of those. So I feel like our Central Texas event was a great jumping off point, but we have so much more that we're incorporating into this next round, and I'm confident that will happen, as we progress through the year and see more and more virtual events. Head for the Cure staff, any other input on that or feedback?
I think one thing to note is, as well as what the market is, how they work, what special things they have as well. Example, in North Texas, they do some great things. Midland, changes it up too. So, we've definitely paid attention to all the markets to see, what special items that they have throughout the event, and make sure we try to make that for the virtual event if we can.
For sure. Yeah, Cheryl.
And sorry, Cheryl, I talked before you.
Oh,
I didn't raise my hand. I didn't follow the rules.
You have to go stand in a corner.
Cheryl, go first.
I just wanted to comment that if you haven't seen the Central Texas virtual race, you can see it on the website. And I was watching it as it was happening, and I immediately went back and watched it again before I even commented, because I was so impressed. We were all, everybody's devastated that we're not getting together. And it was this thing in the back of your mind, like, how is this going to work? And it had every aspect of a race, everything that you would have experienced, and, not in that community, but it was still there. And it's a cool thing. And I can only imagine that they're going to get much, much better, since we're very new at this, but we're going to get lots of fun. Okay, Laura, you can talk now.
Sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry. I was watching for hands raised and didn't think about raising my own to speak. But just going off of what the rest of our team has said, we definitely want to make each event, special to every single city that we're in. And so we definitely want to hear from, all of you that are on this call and, other people that are a part of your team of, what's your favorite part of the race that you want to make sure that you still get to see that day. Even if the race is virtual, we want it to, be as close to what it would look like had it been in person. So if you think of ideas of things that have been at the race, previously that you just want to make sure we see, let us know. Or if you think of new ideas, please let us know, because we're open to hearing those too.
Right. Or if you see other events and you're like, oh, we should do that for ours. That's okay. We can take those ideas and do them as well. Dee, did you have your hand raised?
I did. I'm going to watch that the virtual race on the website, because we talked about it in the last couple meetings that I was in, but I still don't know how I can apply it. I haven't gotten that idea yet. My team is 50-50 senior citizens and 30-somethings. And my brother was 71. And my father used to call him the mayor of Cleveland. And so he had an enormous number of friends. And so that was easy for me because I could deal with them by email or text, although Cleveland's not real technical. But I could find a way to get to them. I could hang out in the bars. I could, tap them on their shoulder, all that stuff. However, I can't do any of that with them right now. And the other half of our team are 30-somethings, because my brother's kids are in their 30s. And so they have each one of their own kind of teams. So they're good. I'm not worried about them. I'm just worried about how I'm going to reach all these senior citizens, but not so much because they're senior citizens, but because they're senior citizens in Cleveland. And they just don't seem as technological as we are accustomed to here in San Francisco. So I'm open to ideas about that. I'll tell you what we did last year that we hadn't done before, is we had a raffle. Now that's something you could do virtually. And somebody offered me, actually, I was going through a little thing with Pottery Barn. No, not Pottery Barn, the other one. I can't think of it. They didn't deliver my sofa anyway. And so in order to apologize to me, they offered me something for the Head for the Cure, and they gave me a basket full of things, a crate and barrel. How could I forget that? A huge basket. The basket was probably worth $800, full of beautiful crate and barrel stuff. And so then I just started hitting the streets in Cleveland, and I went to candy stores and bars and restaurants, and I collected a lot of stuff, and I had a pretty good size raffle at the walk. But I could do that virtually.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I'm not in Cleveland. That's the other problem. I'm not in Cleveland, and I don't know when I'm going to get to Cleveland. That's the problem. So even if there is a walk on October the 3rd, I don't see myself being in Cleveland much before that, if then.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be an issue. So
Brainstorm
anybody who
on
has
all of those. Yeah, if anybody
Yeah.
has ideas, please raise your hand. We'll take them. Perfect. All right. Kim, I want to ask a question to you first. What's one piece of advice that you would give a new team captain?
Well, this is an unusual time. I just turned 50. Yes, and I have a 12-year-old, and she was like, "Mom, have you ever seen anything like this?" And I was like, "Never." And so I think because it's so unusual, we have to think outside the box, and that's why I'm really trying to work with. My husband's in a band, and then I have 2 or 3 friends that are either local musicians. I have one friend who's actually getting ready to go national. She's opened up for a ton of people. I've known her for a couple of years. She went to high school here in Columbus, but really like on the verge of going big time. So I'm trying to hit people that I know and people that my husband knows in that community to do these virtual happy hours. And for example, about 2 weeks ago, my husband's band, which is just little, they've hardly done any gigs. They just got together like a year ago for fun. They just messed around with Facebook Live and did a happy hour. Barely told anybody there. It was more just like a dry run. 150 people showed up to watch it. So imagine if they're barely advertising, they're a newer band. They're not like, they're great, don't get me wrong, but not like my friend Angela Purley, who's getting ready to go national. Or there's another band here in Columbus called Shucking Bubba. Everybody knows Shucking Bubba. People like that, like imagine the people that could show up. And then you put a little donate button, and I don't know, I think it could be amazing. So I just think we got to think outside the box. And my husband actually came up with this idea when they were just playing around. He's like, Kim, why don't we just do a virtual happy hour and tie it to Head for the Cure? And then we just went from there, like, okay, let's ask this person, let's ask this person. So I don't know, I just think we have to think outside the box.
Yeah, I think that's great. You told us that idea in our meeting we had, and I've told almost everybody because I love that idea. And I find myself watching more videos of musicians playing now than ever because I'm home all the time and I'm missing that experience. So I love that idea, and I think it's really, I'm all about the mindset of don't ask, don't get. So the worst they'll tell me is that no, they don't want to do it. But a lot of times you hear yes. So I think that's great. Anna, what's one piece of advice you would give a new team captain?
It's hard. I've really relied on my family a lot for helping and getting participants and donations and stuff. So I definitely would recommend, lean on other people, ask other people if they could ask their friends and family if they want to participate. Really reach out to companies as well and see if they want to volunteer, because I know one of my family friends, they get volunteer hours for going and walking the walk. So there's a lot of different ways you can really get people involved. Just don't be afraid to ask other people for help, and don't do it all by yourself.
Absolutely. Perfect. Lezlye, what about you? What's your piece of advice?
Well, I love everything that everybody has had to say tonight, and it goes right along with what I was going to say. I mean, number one, just don't lose sight of why this cause is so important to you, and take full advantage of all the resources that Head for the Cure has given us, and at the same time, be creative. Like Kim said, don't be afraid to think outside the box, and take ideas that are personal to you or to the reason that that you have a team in the event, and just run with it.
Right. Perfect. That ties into one of my last questions, Lezlye, and I'll ask you first. But yeah, what drives you to keep participating and fighting back against this disease? It's it can wear on you, doing this and different things. So how do you stay motivated to keep being involved and fighting back?
Actually, it doesn't. Maybe it will at some point in time, but it hasn't worn on me at all. It really gives me energy, and it gives me a focus, and I'm very driven to continue this fight for my husband. I mean, when he battled for 19 months and he didn't give up that whole time, and so this is my way of continuing his fight, and I don't plan on giving up either.
I love that. Sherry, did you raise your hand?
I did, yes. Sorry, it's kind of funny on your iPhone. I had a fundraiser planned this year before COVID-19 happened. We had to cancel it, although everyone paid. So I have to make it up to them. But we had a pop-up, what do we call it? Pop-up dinner for purpose, or I think it was pop-up dinner for purpose. Is that right? I don't know, it's so long ago.
I think it's right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Courtney. Anyway, one of our local planning team members, Dusty, loves to cook and has her own cookbook and that kind of thing. So she has done this in her house last year and this year, where she charges $100 per plate, and we host a dinner. So I could have 8 in my house. And so I sent it to all my tennis friends. I was going to have a girls' night out, not do it a couples thing. And I had 8 girls sign up for $100 a plate, and it went to a good cause. And we were going to redo that, but we had a whole, I think it was a 4-course menu. I would provide the wine and all of that, and we were going to have a girls' night out. So it's been a huge success. I know Dusty has sold out on hers many, many times, and I just thought that was really a fun way to get everyone together. It's people that would donate anyway, but they kind of get a little perk as well. It will cost me in the end, but I think it's well worth it for that. So that was another idea.
I love that. Yeah, thank you. Courtney?
Kind of along with what Sherry was talking about, in North Texas, there's a smaller town outside of it, and we have a team, Team Lezlye. They do a fundraiser every time around Christmas time, about like the first week of December, and it's Santa themed. So it's called Santa's Stop, and what they do is they have so Team Lezlye is for Jennifer Lezlye, but she her uncle will dress up as Santa because apparently he looks like Santa, and so they actually he'll kind of like go around this small town and do pictures, so holiday pictures with the family, which I think is such a fantastic thing. And they also do a huge silent auction, and they've had in-person auction and online auction stuff. So that's something to think about during this virtual time, you know, as we kind of move forward to see what happens. But they ended up raising like $17,000 the first year, which is fantastic. And, you know, we were so surprised. And so they've been doing it this year. If they get to do it, it'll be the 4th year. But it, you know, kind of think about what is around in your town, big or small. You know, your community is, you know, all the people you know and where you went to school, work, you know, your organizations that you're a part of. So, you know, something can always work if you just find that right thing.
Thank you. Kim, I want to follow up with you on the question I asked Lezlye, but what drives you to keep participating and fighting back against this disease?
You know, I have to say, the first 3 years when my little sister was alive, I helped take care of her. My parents lived with her during the week, and then I would go over on the weekends and take care of her. And it was a little easier to do the fight while she was alive. It's been harder to do it now that she's passed because it's so sentimental. But I know that once I continue to work through some of my grief, I know how important it is, because one thing I promised her before she passed was that we would make a purpose of her pain, and that we would continue her legacy. So when I get grief stricken, then I just try to remember that little voice in my head that says we'll make a purpose out of our pain, and we'll take the chaos of cancer and do something positive with it. So that keeps me going. And our daughters are a year apart, so seeing my 12-year-old and her 13-year-old together, I know I have to do it for her daughter too.
Thank you,
That
Kim.
keeps me going.
Yeah, thank you. Anna, what keeps you going?
Yeah, so my initial diagnosis happened when I was 12. So I was in middle school. It was a very isolating time. People didn't really understand kind of why I was out so much and just little things like that. And so I really felt alone, and I really took a lot out on me. You know, I became depressed and everything. And I went, you know, there's one thing I want to do with my story, and that's really make sure that no other kid my age really had to go through that. And so that's where I kind of started, you know, getting familiar with charities and getting familiar with Head for the Cure. And eventually I kept working because I know that we're so close to finding that cure, and I don't want to see any other kid go through what I had to go through. I don't want to see any other person just in general kind of go through absolute just the worst part of their life with this disease. And so I really think that we're close to finding a cure, and that keeps me motivated every single day to keep fighting.
Absolutely. Perfect. Well, does anybody have any questions for our, host team captains, or any comments or anything that they'd like to share? Yeah, Melinda.
Sorry for hogging. I'll make it quick. When you guys were introducing yourselves and I heard Brian does analytics, I was wondering, Brian, if you had noticed any trends with like registration after the virtual is announced, or like things like that. I don't know if that's part of your analytics. And there's like a lot of questions I have regarding analytics, but that's an example of one if you have any insights.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, we track registrations across all of our events daily. As kind of the coronavirus outbreak occurred, we certainly noticed kind of a flattening of registration really across most markets. If you kind of recall the news, San Francisco was one of the first kind of major metropolises hit. So we definitely saw, those stay in place orders and impact registration. In the weeks since, especially with our fall markets, which, some have shifted there recently, registrations are picking up considerably after about a 2-week pause. So something we monitor and will continue to, but we're starting to see some positive indications there.
Perfect. Hannah, I know you had your hand raised.
Yeah, so I think it's great to like think outside the box and like do all the virtual things, but also just want to make sure people don't forget that you can like mail a postcard. Like last year, we got most of our team members and donations from just a mass postcard mailing, which is not that expensive. You have to make sure you get the size right. But if you just, you can ask Head for the Cure. I don't remember who it was, but I got like your actual like codes for your brand colors and a high-res logo. And just made a postcard and sent it out and linked people to our team page, and it was an incredible result from that. So we're all online, we're all connected, but also just like the mail.
Mail. Yeah.
Mail, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, Dee.
Here's my postcard. Let's see.
Wow.
And I actually never, I maybe only made half a dozen of them, but when I would be out in public, I would hand them to people. And I put this little sticker on the back that, for people who couldn't do the website, it just says to sign up or donate by mail, send to HFTC care of West Enders, and it has the address on the back. So I didn't mail them, but I'm glad you reminded me of the postcard, because I could do that. That's definitely something I can do. But this is all graphics from Head for the Cure.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Perfect. Well, are there any other questions or comments or anything anybody wants to share?
Jerry, did you have something?
I did. Sorry. I love the postcard idea. Oh my goodness. Whoever thought of that?
I did.
Anyway, that's so awesome. Is that something Head for the Cure could send out to team captains, or
Yeah, absolutely.
somehow make available for the resources? Because I love that idea. I could send it out as Christmas cards.
Christmas and
People love to get
July.
mail. I love that idea. Really nice.
I know I got to write it down while you're saying it. Sorry, I'm like, okay, put it on my little to-do list here and make it happen. No, that's perfect.
Another thing that we did last year was we sent out another postcard after the event to everyone who donated. And it had like everyone's names who donated or joined the team on it. So it's kind of like a postcard version of a donor board, like you'd see at a nonprofit. So that was a good way of following up. And I think part of the reason that people are like emailing me this year and they're like, we have not gotten your postcard yet. Like, where is it, Hannah? I'm like, oh.
I love that. That's perfect.
Hey, Kelsey.
Courtney?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Chris.
I joined late, but I just wanted to say hi, and I guess I'm almost bye. But Chris Campbell from Kansas City, Team Campbell. Just wanted to say hi to all of you.
Hi, Chris.
Also, Courtney, before you go, I'm going to call out Jenny and make Jenny say hi too, because she joined.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I just saw the notification on my phone like this afternoon or like just now, and I was like, oh crap, I gotta join. I'm Jenny. I live in Chicago area, so I do Head for the Cure Chicago, and then I also drive down to St. Louis and do Head for the Cure St. Louis because all of my siblings live down there, so I get to have fun twice a year, which is really awesome. But I'm actually I'm a 11 to 12 year survivor. I'm in my 12th year right now, and I'm actually currently doing treatment, so it kind of sucks doing treatment during a pandemic. But I'm also writing about it on Brains for the Cure. Thanks.
Well, we'll be thinking of praying for you, Jenny. Keep strong.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy writing about it. It's very therapeutic, and I think it brings more attention to our cause, because unfortunately, when your results are boring and stable, it just doesn't get as much attention. I'm sure you all agree with that, you know, so, but that's me. Sorry I'm late.
No worries. Thank you for joining us. Cheryl?
I was gonna say, make sure Chris and Jenny say something because I saw them pop on late. But I just wanted to say that some of you I've met personally, and it's absolutely lovely to see you on here, and especially Chris and Sherry, and nice to finally meet Dee, who we have had many phone calls. She does a tremendous job of supporting Head for the Cure in Cleveland.
And you do a tremendous job of supporting the team captains. Thank you very much, Ms. Cheryl.
You are welcome.
Yes, thank you,
And
Cheryl.
a lot of the other names I have seen, so this is because I don't go to most of the events. It's really nice to see you all in person, hear what you have to say. I think this is so inspiring. So that's all I have. Love meeting you all. Love seeing my buddies.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Hey, Jenny.
Yes.
Jenny, what's your last name?
Williams.
Oh, okay. Was it ever Burr?
No.
No, okay.
Oh, also another thing, my dad passed away in 2015 from oligodendroglioma, which is the type of tumor I have. So I'm both a family member and a patient.
Wow. Good luck to you.
So brain tumors have hit my family hard, and let's get rid of them, guys.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Great. Absolutely. Perfect.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, sure.
Sorry. Am I on? Oh, no. Here. Hey, I just want to say we are, well, Midland is first, but we're the next virtual race after that for North Texas. And kudos to everyone at Head for the Cure. Seriously, you guys have been innovative. And I know Head for the Cure does a little, we're a little extra, as my 20-year-old something daughter's bougie or bougie or whatever that word is. We have a lot of little extras for our ceremonies, and you guys have graciously allowed us to keep those. And I really, really appreciate it. And I just think that adds to the continuity, that people kind of still feel connected to the community. And I just really appreciate the hard work that you guys are doing, producing videos, gathering the data and all of that. And truly, been a team effort from all of you guys. And I know you guys have had your hard times of being separated from each other, but man, you all are keeping it together, and I think doing an amazing job engaging the community and the teams and the market. So yay to you, and it's so great to see you guys. And happy birthday,
Sherry.
Courtney. Courtney, she's our girl.
Thank you, Sherry.
Good to see you.
You are
Really,
so
really appreciate
sweet.
that.
Yes. Perfect. Well, in the essence of, we've reached our hour and respecting everybody's evening. I think we'll wrap up here, but we greatly appreciate you joining us for our first meeting. Thank you to Kim and Lezlye and Anna for being our guest hosts and our speakers. And then we'll be back on in 2 weeks from today. We don't have a topic yet, but we're going to have one soon, and we'll know who our guest speakers are. And so all of that will be on Facebook, as well as on the headforthecure.org calendar. And then I wanted to mention as well, if you haven't, or if you're not a member of the Facebook group, the Head for the Cure Team Captains, that's a great group to be a part of, to share ideas. We also post in there, so feel free to join that as well. But I think that's it for everything this week. But I appreciate it so much, and we're really, really excited to just still make the most of 2020 and share all of our ideas and really just do what we can to find this cure. Absolutely. So perfect.
Kelsey.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
All
Kelsey.
right.
Awesome. Thank you,
Have
guys.
a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.